भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्तिः 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 श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. So let us read verse number 16. We did that. We did it. Yat param brahma sarvatma vishwasyayatanam mahat sukshmat sukshmataram nityam tattvameva tvameva tat. So far in the last two verses we have seen, and right from the beginning also, what has Shruti done? First it unfolded Tvam-pada. Then in the mantras we talked about the three states of experiences, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. There also Shruti told us that it is the self which experiences, which goes through these three different experiences of Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti. This has been shown. So Tvam-pada is unfolded. Then in verse number 15, Shruti talked about the Tat-pada. It said that the one who is passing through all these experiences, it is from him, Tatastu Jatam Sakalam Vichitram. From him is born this variegated creation. This big jump Shruti made. All this is leading to the Mahavakya. That is what I am telling. Then the Shruti said, showed how this Jiva is nothing but Paramatma. It is from him that everything is born. That is told in verse number 15. Etasmat jayate pranaha manaha sarvendriyani kham vayuhu jyotihi apaha prithvi. Everything is born from this. And now in verse number 16, Shruti shows the total identity between Tat-Tvam-pada and Tat-pada. See, look at the words. Yat param brahma sarvatma. Yat, which means that. That means which has already been discussed as the one passing through all the three experiences, and the one from whom the entire creation has come out. The same param brahma, the same yat param brahma, the same exalted Brahma, who is Sarvatma, who is the self of all, plus Vishwasya Ayatanam, Mahat, that which is big, support of the entire creation. And that which is Sukshmat, Sukshmataram, which is subtler than the subtlest, that is, and which is eternal, Nityam, Tat Tvameva, that you are. As if this was not enough. Shruti also said, Tvameva tat, that you are and you are that, leaving no room for doubt as to the complete identity. Now see, even though Shruti says this, it is difficult to accept. That is why this is called Mahavakya. Mahavakya as such, if you go to see, it is not Mahavakya. There are only 3 words. Tat tvam asi, tat tvameva, tvameva tat. Very few words are there. But still, as far as the meaning is concerned, it is Mahavakya, very profound. In fact, this is the only Vakya, the central theme of the Vedas, of the entire Veda. The entire Veda. Even Karma Kanda progressively prepares you for this. Upasana also prepares you for this. And then comes Vedanta, then comes the Upanishad, which talks of this big equation, that you are. As I said, when you listen to this statement, then the statement doesn't make any sense when you take it in Vachyartha. Vachyartha means the literal meaning of the words. The literal meaning doesn't make sense. How come? Yes, when it is said that you are that, you means I am that. When this is said, how can the very first response or the reaction from me will be, how can I be that? Because my perception, my understanding of myself is that I am limited. I am close to me. I am aparoksha, but still I am limited. I cannot be Brahman. Why I cannot be Brahman? Because Brahman, what is Brahman? He is far away, one thing. Second thing, he is omnipotent, he is omniscient. He is Sarvagnya, Sarvashaktiman plus Paroksha. Whereas when I think of myself, what is there in me? I am close to me, yes, no doubt about it. But at the same time, Paricheda, there are all the limitations here. So one which is limited cannot be the one which is limitless. Understood? So Vachyartha means that limited, when it is said you are that, if we try to understand with the words on their face value, Vachyartha, literal meaning of the words, it doesn't make sense. So whenever, but still Shruti is saying something, and it is pramana. So we cannot ignore this statement. We cannot shirk it off as nonsense or as something we cannot believe in. We have to go deep into this and unfold the words. So here, when the direct Vachyartha meaning is not possible, we go for Lakshyartha. Lakshyartha means implied meaning. See, in our day-to-day life also, we understand by Lakshyartha many times. That is the intended meaning, implied meaning. Supposing I tell you that there is a hamlet on Ganges. Hamlet means a small village. Gangayam Ghoshaha. On Ganga is a Ghoshaha, means a small village. Then when I have told you, when you heard this, you understood. What? That there cannot be a village on the flow of the water. So Vachyartha did not make sense. Literal meaning did not make sense. So what did you do? You understood. Yes, even though she said there is this village on Ganga, it means on the banks of Ganga. On the banks of Ganga, which means what? You understood it by Lakshana Vritti. You added a word, on the banks of the Ganga, and then the word made sense. So this is called Lakshana. Now here, by which Lakshana you understand this Mahavakya? Technically speaking, it is called Bhaga Tyaga Lakshana. This is the Lakshana or the implied Vritti by which there are many kinds of Lakshanas, by the way. Jahal Lakshana, Ajahal Lakshana. So many Lakshanas where you give up the direct word and add, where you retain and remove something different, Lakshanas are there. But to understand this Vakya, Tattvamasi, which Lakshana is employed? Bhaga, Tyaga, Lakshana, or Jahal, Ajahal, Lakshana. So understand this. This is very technical. In technical language, it is called Bhaga, Tyaga, Lakshana. Now what does it mean? See, I will give you an example of this. Say there is a sentence like, Soyam Devadattaha. I am, this Devadatta is that one. This one is that. Now, let me tell you a small story. That once upon a time, like two friends are attending a camp. Two of us are attending a camp. We are two very good friends. Then suddenly, in the Bandara, when we are serving the sadhus, I saw a sadhu. And I felt that the person is very familiar. I have seen him somewhere. So, when I am serving, I'm closely looking at him. Felt that something is very, very familiar. Then, upon close look, I remembered what? That this one is that Prakasha. This sadhu in the orange robes, with the beard, with all the long beard, etc., is what? Is that Prakasha, name of the person, who was my college friend. That Prakasha is this sadhu. That Prakasha is this sadhu. So I call my friend and tell him, see, that one is this. When I say this, that one, Soyam Devadatta, that one is this. Then what do? You know? You do Bhagatyaga. Bhagatyaga means what? You remove the contradictory elements and retain the common one. This is the meaning of Bhagatyaga. The contradictory aspects are removed and the common one is retained. Now, which are the contradictory aspects? This one is that. This one in this, what is there? Beard is there, orange clothes are there. This is the person before me. And that one, who was my friend in the college, was a person with the wearing jeans and t-shirt and very modern fellow. And jeans also, which are torn in between. That kind of, that's so fashionable. He was such a fashionable person. So it's difficult to find. That one can be this one with beard and malas, rudraksh and tripunda and all that. Impossible, but yet. So that one is, I tell my friend, that one, that Prakasha is this. And he also says, yeah, you are right. You are right. Then what have we done? From that one, the contradictory part, what? Genes, etc. The torn aspect, all that. And from this, the contradictory aspect, the orange clothes and beard and tripund, everything, that we remove. We do this. We may not know these words, Bhagatyaga. That we may not know, but we do. And still catch the common person. Catch the common person. He, in a different time, different place, different time, long back, different place, different attributes. This fellow, at a different time, different place, different Vesha, but still, when those contradictory aspects are removed, then what remains? The same person. The same person doesn't change. His eyes are the same. His skin is the same. Person is the same. You catch that aspect and recognize. Bhaga, Tyaga. Part of it is removed, but the common denominator, the common aspect is retained. Understood? Now we do with Tattvamasi. The same Bhagatyaga we apply in Tattvamasi. When it is said Tat Tvam Asi, that means what? Tat is the Tad neuter word, and Prathama is Tat. So see, there is Samanadikaranyam. We will have to get into little bit of technicalities. This Vakya Tattvamasi is in Samanadikaranyam. Samanadikaranyam means two words having different meanings, but in the same grammatical case, they indicate one thing. They indicate, even though words are different, but they are in the same grammatical case. When this happens, understand that it is referring to the same person, same entity. Okay? Keep this in mind. So the Tattvamasi is in Samanadikaranyam. Tat means that. And that this word is derived from the word Tad. It is neuter. And Prathama is Tat. Tat, then Tvam. That is also Prathama. This Tvam word has come from Yushmat. And the first Prathama is Tvam. Both of them are Prathama. Words are different. That, you are. That and you, words are different. But they indicate the same thing. Because they are in the same vibhakti, same case. In different words indicating the same person. Now see, that means what? That Ishvara. Away from me. Possessed of altogether different attributes. What are the attributes of Ishvara? Sarvajñatvam, Sarvashaktimatvam. These are the qualities of Ishvara. Plus he is away. So this is the contrasting part. And when I look at Tvam, you, what is it? It is aparoksha, yes, but again limited. But still Shruti says, Tat Tvam Asi. So now what do? We remove the contrasting aspects, contradictory parts. What are they? From here, Paricheda, limitedness is removed. From there, Sarvajñatvam is removed. Sarvashaktimatvam is removed. Parokshatva, that he is away, that much is also removed. And then when I remove both of this, what remains? What remains? The same Asti Bhati Priyam. Asti Bhati Priyam here with a limited upadhi. Here Asti Bhati Priyam is in a limited upadhi. There the same Asti Bhati Priyam is a big upadhi. Isha Jiva Yoho Veshadhibida, as Raman Maharshi says, between Ishvara and Jiva, there is difference in upadhi. There big upadhi, here small upadhi. But Sat Svabhavato Vastu Kevalam, as far as the Vastu, the essence, the reality is concerned, it is one. Understood? When that is removed, Sarvajñatvam is removed. From here, what you remove? Limitations you remove. Then what remains is one consciousness in both the places. So this is Lakshyartha. This is Shruti when says Tattvamasi, the meaning is to be arrived at by Lakshana, by Lakshyartha, not Vachyartha. In Vachyartha, there is no identity. There is no sameness. He is Ishvara, I am Jiva. But Jiva is also incidental. Sarvajñatvam is also incidental. From both Jiva and Ishvara, remove the incidental agantuka parts. Here limitedness is also agantuka. There Sarvajñatvam, Sarvashaktimatvam, agantuka, incidental. And catch what? Essential. What is the essential aspect? What is it? Asti Bhati Priyam. Essence or what is inherent. Retain that. And remove. Then there is complete identity. And here Shruti says both ways, that you are and you are that. That you are and you are that. This is only in this Upanishad. Nowhere both the ways it is shown. See Brahmaji is the teacher here. You will find the same thing in Brahma Gita. There is a text called Brahma Gita, where also Brahmaji is the teacher. And he is teaching the Devatas. So somebody was asking me, what happens in Brahma Loka when the person cannot get Jivan Mukti here, and supposing he goes to Brahma Loka, then Brahmaji teaches. We have this text, Brahmaji teaches. Then at the end of the cycle, he understands and gets Mukti. So in short, in the Brahma Gita also, this Vakya is very well taught by Brahmaji to different Devatas. Okay, this was just by the way. So here it has the complete identity, Tattvam Asi, is shown. Now the question arises as to Idanimeva Jnane Phalam Aha. What is the result of this knowledge? Okay, we came to know, but so what? What does it do to me? Then it is said, come on. Now, so how should I now look upon myself? Again, Dhyanam. What should be the thought vrittis? What should be the pattern of thinking now onwards, having known this? So the Shruti says, come on, next verse. Verse number 17. Jagrat Swapna Sushuptyadi Prapancham Yat Prakashate Tad Brahmahamiti Jnatva Sarva Bandhaif Pramuchyate. See, now Shruti says that look upon yourself as the one, not going through the experiences, but the one who goes through the experiences is Jiva. Means, as I said, I had mentioned this yesterday, that these three, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, are the states of the mind, not of consciousness. Consciousness is not Jagrata. Consciousness is not Swapnastha. Consciousness is not Sushupti. He is not the one who is sleeping. He is not the one who is dreaming. He is not the one who is awake. Who is he then? He is the one who illumines this state of mind. Which mind? Which state of mind? Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. But in ignorance, he gets identified with this state of mind. When the mind is bahish prajnaha, when the mind is focused outside, then you call it what? Jagrat. We saw this yesterday. When the mind is focused inside, what is it? Swapna. And when the entire mind and ego and the entire personality is merged in ignorance, it is what? Sushupti. Now what does consciousness do? Not do, but in its presence. It says Jagrat, Swapna, Sushuptyadi. All this three. Prapancham Yat Prakashate. One who illumines this entire prapancha. Prapancha means what? This entire phenomena. The phenomena called Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, etc. Etc. means other states also. Which are the other states? Childhood, youth, adolescence, middle age, old. All these are different states through which the jiva passes. The gross body, subtle body passes. So it says, one who illumines all this, that I am. One who illumines all the states, Tad Brahma Aham. That Brahma or consciousness I am. Iti Jnatva. Important is knowing this. Iti Jnatva. What happens? Sarva Bandhaihi Pramuchyate. Knowing this, one is released from all bondage. Bondage belongs to Jagrat. When you think that all this is happening to me, then I'm bound. In Swapna also, Sukha Dukkha Bhokta. In Swapna also, one goes through different kinds of happiness and unhappiness. Sukha Dukkha Bhokta. If you think it happens to you, you are bound. And I'm the one who is sleeping. Atma is not sleeping. Understand? Atma is not sleeping. One who is sleeping? The mind. Antakarana, ahankara, sense organs, all of them are merged. Atma is not sleeping. Atma has no sushupti. Who is Atma? The one who enlivens, one who illumines all the three states of experiences. That is why in Mandukya what is said? That Soyam Atma Chatushpat. It is said this Atma has 4 padas. The 4 padas, one is Jagrat, second one is Swapna, third one is Sushupti, and the fourth one is Turiya. Turiya means 4th one. But is it really 4th? 4th? No. It is the only one, not the 4th. Why? But then why did Shruti say 3? Atma has 4 quarters? Only and only because this Jiva thinks that I am going through the experiences of Jagrat. I am going through the experiences of dream. I am the dreamer. I am the waker. I am the sleeper. Keeping or taking our ignorance temporarily as true, Shruti says this Atma has 4 padas. In reality, 3 are superimpositions. 3 belong to the states of mind. What is Atma in reality? The 4th one. The 4th one means what? When Mandukya talks about this, after having explained the 3 states, it does the prakriya of neti. Neti means negates. What does it say? It says, wait, let me quote the entire mantra for you. Nantaf prajnaha. What is Atma? Na antaf prajnaha, which means it is not dreaming. Na bahish prajnaha, means Atma is not waker. Na prajnana ghanam, not even sleeper. Then who is he? Adrishtam, avyavaharyam, agrahyam, alakshanam, avyapadeshyam, ekatma pratyaya saram, means one from whom all these qualities are absent. It is not seen. You cannot transact with Atma. No. And what is it? Prapanchopashamam. It is one in which all this entire prapancha. Prapancha means where there is transaction between one and the other. Just as we hear in what? Chandogya. What is Bhuman? Nanyat yatra nanyat vijanati, nanyat shrunoti. Bhuman is that where one doesn't see the other. One doesn't listen to the other. Atma is not listening. But listening cannot happen without Atma. The problem is, Atma doesn't listen. But listening cannot happen without Atma. That is why it is said, while in Kaivalyopanishad, the student asked, who is doing all this? So what did teacher reply? Shrotrasya shrotra. He is the ear of the ear. Mind of the mind. Which means what? Whatever the mind can do, whatever the ear can do, whatever the eyes can do, is done because of the Atma. So this is the prakriya of negation, prakriya of neti. And what is Atma? There Shruti says Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam, Chaturtham Manyate. It is Shanta, Shiva, Advaita, and it is Atma which should be known as what? Bereft of all this. All this cannot be without Atma, and yet Atma is not the one who is seeing, not doing, not the waker, not the sleeper, not the dreamer. It is beyond all this. Further, about this same self. Idanim sarvasmat prapanchat vailakshanam aha. How is this Atma different from the prapancha? Please explain. So it is said in verse number 18. Trishu dhamasu yad bhogyam bhokta bhogascha yad bhavet tebhyo vilakshana sakshi chinmatroham sada shivah. See now, the problem is all the experiences cannot be without the self, and yet the self is none of them. So that is being explained. What is Shruti is trying to say is Trishu Dhamasu, in all the three realms of experiences, which is waking, dream and deep sleep, in all the experiences there is Triputi. Triputi means triad. This three will always be found. So in waking, three are there. Who three? Knower. Then this is the object of knowing, known. And when the knower comes into the contact with this object, the experience of knowing takes place. So in all the states of experiences, these three are there, mainly in the waking state and even in the dream state. In the deep sleep state, that ego is absent. So it is not that evident. But in the waking and dream state, this Triputi is always present. So Shruti says, Trisu Dhamasu, in all the three states, Yad Bhogyam, that which is Bhogya, that which is Bhokta, that which is Bhoga. These three are there. But the Sakshi is different from them. The Sakshi or the self is different from the knower, known and knowing. And they all appear in all the three states of experiences. But Atma is different from them. Now let us see how. See, when this waking state is going on, Bhokta means what? Bhokta means the waker. In waking state, what is the name of this Bhokta? Yesterday we saw Vishwam. Vishwa is the one who is enjoying, means this person who enjoys. So he is in the waking state, Bhokta, enjoys an object which is what? Sthula Bhok, who enjoys the gross objects in the waking state. This person who is the waker enjoys what? Gross objects. And there is contact between them. That is Bhoga. So, Bhokta, Bhoga, Bhogya and Bhoga. Hearer, Shabda is the heard. Shabda is something which is heard. And when hearer comes in contact with the word, there is hearing. So everywhere, hearer, hearing, heard, smeller, smelt, smelling, seer, seen, seeing. Everywhere this Triputi is there. Atma is the one who merely illumines this three. So, to call the Atma knower, seer, doer is not correct. In the primary sense of the word, Atma is not the one who is seeing also. These words do not literally apply to Atma. If at all a word applies to Atma, then what is it? Sakshi. But that is also not correct. Because when you say Sakshi is the one who is witnessing everything, he is all the time witnessing. No, that also happens in its presence. Because the Sakshya is there, Drushya is there, so Atma gets the name of Drashta. Otherwise, innately, Atma is not even a Drashta. Because Advaita, there is nothing to be seen also. So, in Panchadashi, a very beautiful example is given to explain this. They say, in Panchadashi it is said, that there is a big hall, stage is there, that the musicians, nataka, the stage is there. Then there is a musician. He has all the instruments along with him. Audience is also there. Who is illumining all this? The Nataka Deep, the big lamp in the center of the hall, on the center of the stage, is illumining the musician, his all his instruments, the audience, the singer, and everything. The lamp is illumining. Lamp is not the musician. Lamp merely, when they were not there, that time also, when on the stage there was no one, that time also the lamp was. When all of them came and the singing and clapping and all this encore, everything is going on, lamp is there. When all of them will go away, then also who is there? The lamp is there. Totally different. Tebhyo vilakshanaha sakshi. Here in the second line it is said, who is different from all of them. Vilakshana means entirely different from all of them. And who is he? Chinmatraha, mere consciousness. Nothing but consciousness. And he is what? Of the nature of Shiva. Shiva means auspiciousness. See, understand. Then you may ask as to how come Atma is illuminator? For illumining, why should he require the mind? Atma itself is illuminator of the nature of knowledge, of the nature of Prakasha, Swayam Jyotihi. In that case, mind is not required. You understand what I am saying? In that case, to see this object, eyes are not required, ears are not required, because he is enough. Swayam Jyotihi. You may not have thought about this, but if he is the light, I don't require this other lights. I don't require the medium of mind. I don't require this other organs, because he himself is the principle of light. Yes, you are right. But Atma is in the to be able to cognize the objects, and for the mind to be able to visualize. What is required is the light of consciousness, all right, but light directly. Atma directly cannot do all this. Why? Simply because it is of a different it is a different degree of reality. Atma is the Paramarthik reality, and all of this are in the Vyavharik reality. Paramarthik Satta has to come down to the Vyavharik Satta to be able to do this. I will give you an example. Electricity, the real cause because of which the fan is moving is electricity. The real reason because of which the mic is able to amplify the sound is electricity. Without that, it will not happen. But can the electricity directly do all this without the medium of fan? So, it happens in two stages. When the fan is moving, it is moving because of the motor inside. There is a motor inside which, what is it? That's a tungsten filament. The power passes through that and then comes to the wings. Understood? Then comes to these three wings. Similarly, consciousness alone directly cannot illumine all this. It requires the medium of what? For to be able to give this, for the fan to move, what is required is that motor inside, the tungsten filament inside, and these three gross wings. Understood? Electricity directly cannot do that. Similarly, here, consciousness alone cannot do. What it requires is the medium of the mind. So first, the consciousness of the Atma or consciousness itself passes to the mind, and then from the mind to what? To the gross body. Understood? So first, consciousness, Atma, is reflected in the mind, just as power in the motor, and then to the wings. Similarly, consciousness gets reflected first in the mind. So mind, even though inert, behaves like conscious, and then from then it passes to different organs of the body. So we think, that is why we make this mistake. We think I am doing, I am seeing, but in reality mind is seeing. Eyes can see when the mind is, and mind can see when the consciousness is. Understood? Consciousness requires this medium. But ignorance is that when you get identified with the mind and think, I am seeing, I am doing, I am going through all these experiences. In reality, in my presence, this mind is working, and then the rest of the organs are also working. In that sense, it is said, Tebhyaha vilakshanaha sakshi. Sakshi, or the witness, is different from all of them. It is merely consciousness. Sada Shivaha. I am always of the nature of Shiva. Shiva means what? You see, you look at Lord Shiva. Where does he live? Smashaneshwa krida, smarahara, pishachaha, sahachara. Who is he surrounded by? And where does he live? He lives in Smashana, surrounded by all ghosts. There is a snake over here. Where's the garland of skull? So everything amangal around him, nothing is pure. But still he is pure. Even though he resides in an impure environment, all kinds of noises and commotion goes on around him, and yet he is what? Amangalyam Sheelam Tava Bhavatu Namaiva Makilam Tathapi Smartrunam Paramam Mangalamasi. Even though you are surrounded by all amangala, you are the most mangala for those who think of you. Similarly, consciousness also resides where? In this gross body. Gross body is impure. Everything is there inside. All filth and blood and everything. Mind also is filled with all kinds of vrittis. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. So in spite of all of them, he is always what? Not touched by anything. Asangohi ayam purushaha. He is always asanga. Totally untouched. Not aware of anything. That is Sada. This is our description, not of some other Atma. This is being talked about Atma, our own nature. Then further, verse number 19. Prapancha Vailakshanyam Swasya Uktva Idanim Jagat Janmadi Karanatvam. See, Atma, even though untouched, is the cause of the entire creation. How come? That is being shown. Verse number 19. Mayyeva sakalam jatam Mayi sarvam pratishtitam Mayi sarvam layam yati Tad brahmadvayamasmyaham. See, on one hand, one question can arise that on one hand you say this consciousness is totally different from prapancha. It has no trace of prapancha in him. And then still this creation is, and how has this creation come about? From him alone. On one hand we say he is nirguna, different from all this, has no trace of any of these things. And yet, when there is a question as to how has all these things come about, then what does Shruti say? Atma says everything has come from me. So, Mayi eva sakalam jatam, Mayi eva, in me or because of me, sakalam jatam, everything is born because of me. Mayi sarvam pratishtitam, everything is sustained because of me. And again goes back to me. Mayi sarvam layam yati. Just as water can say, the entire group of waves, all the waves and ripples and foam, everything in the ocean has arisen because of me, remains in me, goes back to me. So, the same consciousness is nothing but what? Creator, sustainer, and even the dissolver. Who is he? In reality is nothing but Brahma Advayam Asmi Aham. I am the one non-dual Atma, non-dual Brahman. Then how come all this came out from you? Just as Brahma Sutra also says, Janmadyasya yataha. Janmadi etc. are from whom? From same Brahman. Brahman otherwise nirguna, nirakara. But and there is no other reality other than that Brahman. There is Brahman, just one without a second, and it is nirguna, niravayava. Then how to explain this creation? How to explain? So it is said that the same Brahma, Uma Sahayam, with the help of Maya, became what? The creator, the sustainer, and the dissolver. But did he really become that? To create, if you really create, then what happens? You do no more remain the same. When from this lump of clay, the pot is created, does the lump of clay remain in the same form? No, now it has got converted into pot. No more is it available in the form of clay. So clay got converted into pot. Or the milk, from milk when the curd is made, milk no more remains as milk. It gets converted, it changed into curd. Supposing Brahman became the creation like this. Brahman is supposed to be the creator. If he created and changed, then he is no more available as Brahman. He is no more, he is gone. Clay is gone. Milk is gone. Transformed into curd. Has Brahman transformed into this creation in the same manner? No. What does the Shruti say? Tad Brahma Advayam Asmi Aham. I remain Advaya only. So this is, what is the causality that we ascribe to Brahman is what kind of causality? What kind? Is it really change? Is it really Parinami Karanam? Does Brahman really become? Does he really become? No. Without becoming, he appears to be like this. Just as rope without becoming snake appears to be snake. In that sense, because in that case, you need not explain the creation. But no, creation is something we see, something we experience. So a plausible reason has to be given. How did it come out? I am experiencing that. I cannot just say that it is not there. To give a reason for this, to give a plausible answer, what has been said, that Brahman is what? Both Abhinna Nimitta Karana. He is both the material cause as well as the efficient cause for the creation. And really nothing remains what it is without changing. He remains in its nature, and yet the creation appears to be there. It appears to be there. In reality, it is not there. Appears to, and as long as you see, it is there. It is your seeing, your projecting that brings it there. There is a Vada called Drishti Shrushti Vada. Shrushti Drishti Vada. You see, and therefore the creation is. You dream, that is why the dream is there. There is no tangibility about the dream. Then, further. So, again the same doubt is being answered, that if Brahman remains Brahman, then where did it bring about all the accessories for that? To become the creator of this vast creation, Brahman must have many hands, so many brains, so many things he requires, so many limbs, etc., to be able to create this. So what does he say? Brahman, the Shruti says no. Without having anything, he does everything. Without having any accessories, without changing, remaining what it is, everything happens. That is being explained in verse number 20, sorry. Anoraniyanahame tadvat mahanaham vishvamaham vichitram puratanoham purushohamishah hiranmayoham shivarupamasmi. See, it explains how he is everything and yet beyond everything. He is everything plus transcending everything. How everything? Because this creation cannot come about without him. And yet, since it is Vivartavada, really nothing has happened. So it is said, Anoho aniyan ahameva. I am subtler than the subtlest. I am subtler than even an atom. Similarly, Tadvat means similarly. Mahan aham, I am bigger than the biggest. I am smaller than the smallest and bigger than the biggest. Now tell me, how can one thing simultaneously be big also and small also? Only when it is beyond both. Only when it is beyond both. It is neither small. If it is small, cannot be big. If it is big, cannot be small. But here it is said, the same one is bigger than the biggest, smaller than the smallest. It is only when it is beyond both. He says, Shruti says, Aham vichitram vishvam. I am this variegated. Vichitram means not strange, but vichitram means variegated, full of variety. At the same time, everything that is different, multifarious. I am this multifarious creation. Plus puratanoham. Puratanoham means not old. Otherwise, now he will be with a beard, longer and longer and longer beard. No, ancient, which means it is always present. Purushaha, which is full. Then aham ishaha, I am Ishvara, the ruler. Hiranmayaha. Hiranmayaha means what? I am effulgent, of the principle of light. Aham Shivarupam. Shivarupam aham asmi. I am of the nature of Shiva. Shiva means auspiciousness. This I am. At the same time, it means that I pervade everything. Whatever is there is because of me. Yet, I am above this. Different from this. How come? Just as in Purusha Sukta, if you are familiar with that. Sahasra Shirsha Purushah Sahasraksha Sahasrapad Sabhumim Vishwato Vrutva. It pervades the entire creation. And the very second words are what? Atyatishtat Dashangulam. I am much, much higher than that. Tripad Urdvam Uday. The three, Bhagavan says, Narayana says, three padas, my three padas are this creation. And my major chunk is much beyond all this. Which means what? Whatever is because of me, and yet I am not in that. Now this is the equation of Advaita. Understand. What is the equation of Advaita? Advaita's equation is this, that whatever is there, whatever you see, is because of that one, and yet that one has none of that. Just as I say, the actor is the beggar is the actor. You see a beggar on the stage. What do we say? This beggar is equal to the actor. But tell me, is the actor beggar? Beggar is not his reality. Beggar, so we have to say B is equal to A, but A is not B. In which sense? That beggar is definitely actor. Beggar cannot be without the actor. But actor's reality is not the beggar. Beggar is his incidental reality. But the essential reality is the actor. Similarly, this creation and everything in the creation is what? Because of Brahman. Matstani sarva bhutani. All this is in me. Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita. All this is in me. And Lord Krishna, very characteristic of him. Moment in one breath he will say one sentence, one statement, and very next moment he will change. He says, Matstani sarva bhutani. And then what does he say? Nacha ham teshu avastitah. Nacha matstani bhutani. They are not in me. They are in me. All of them are in me, but I am not in them. I am not in them. Why? Creation is because of me, because of Maya. But if you look at me closely, if you see my true nature, then that is nothing but consciousness. This consciousness has not undergone any change. No change whatsoever. No change. No becoming. And yet, it appears as creation because of Maya. Because of Maya. Maya is that which presents a thing differently. Different from what it is. So Brahman remains Brahman, and yet becomes creator, yet becomes sustainer, yet becomes dissolver, doer, everything, without really becoming that. So that is being shown now. See, verse number 21. Apanipadoham achintya shaktihi pashyamya chakshus shrunomya karnah aham vijanami vivikta rupah na chasti veta mama chit sadaham idanim sarva karana hinasya sarvajnatam swasya aha. Without really having any limbs, without having any organs, he does everything. See, he says, apanipadoham apanipadah aham achintya shaktihi. Without having hands and legs, I do everything. Without pani means hands. Without hands and legs, yet what kind of power do I have? Incomprehensible power. No limbs are required. Pashyami achakshuhu. Without eyes, I see everything. Without ears, I hear everything. Aham vijanami vivikta rupaha. I know everything. Aham vijanami. I know everything. Without mind. Apranaha. I'm apranaha. Amanaha. I have no mind, yet I know everything. Vivikta rupaha. My form, my nature is different. Na chasti veta mama. There is nobody who knows me. Knows me in which sense? The way I know this object, that way nobody can see consciousness. This form, this object can be visualized. That way I cannot stand apart from consciousness and perceive consciousness. In that sense it is said, na chasti veta. Nobody can see me. Chit sadaham, who am I? Always nothing but consciousness. Always nothing but is and consciousness. I am sat, that means is, plus bhati. Bhati means I know that I am. You may be, but you do not know. So both these things have to go together. What? Sat and chit. Sattayahi chit. Chittayahyaham. Sat and Chit both have to go together. Plus Ananda also. I am and I know that I am. Big thing. Then, if nobody knows you, then what is the point of having Vedas? Why did you create Vedanta, etc.? If nobody is going to know you, so it is said now. Vedairane kairahameva vedyah. Vedanta krud veda videva chaham. Na punya pape mama nasti nashah. Na janma dehendriya buddhirasti. See, what does he say? Vedaihi anekaihi ahameva vedyah. I alone am that which is to be known through all the Vedas. So, what is the object of knowledge? Bhagavan now claims everything. He says, I am the known. Vedaihi anekaihi. From all the different Vedas, aham eva vedyah, which means I am the known. I am the object to be known. Earlier he said nobody can know me. And now he says, I am the one to be known. Okay. But who is the one who has created the Vedas? Vedanta Krut. I am the author of the Vedas. See, I am the author of the Vedas. In which way? We talked about this on the first day. Vedas have revealed from Ishvara. It is Ishvara's Vani, Nishvasa, as if the out-breath of Ishvara. So Vedanta has not come from from the intellect of human being. Apaurusheya. Vedanta Krut. And then Veda Vid. Who knows the Vedas? Veda Vid Eva Aham. I am the one who knows. So the text is myself. The thing to be known from the text is also myself. And the knower is also myself. So the text, the teacher, the student, and the knowledge. Who is all this? Everything, nothing but one. Then, in me, na punya, na papa. Now, one by one, Shruti negates. Na punya pape mama, nasti nashah. There is no punya, no papa. We are afraid of all this, no? Papa, afraid of that. And we want to accumulate punya. All this is samsara. All this is nothing but samsara. I am beyond all that. There is no end to me. Na janma, dehendriya, buddhihi, asti. There is no birth, no sense organs, etc. Nothing in me. Then at the individual level, that is negated. Then the elements are negated. See, the prakriya of negation, neti, is going on. You keep on negating. Then what remains? is the truth. Why talk in this manner? Can't you straight away say that this is what I am? No. Because the nature of the Atma being what it is, it cannot be shown. It cannot be visualized. So what is to be done? That which is taken to be real has to be negated. This is called the prakriya of negation. Naiti, naiti, naiti. Ashabdam. They won't say what Atma is, but will say it is not the word that can be heard. Arupam. It is not something that can be seen. Similarly, the same prakriya is followed here. Shruti says, na bhumihi, there is no earth, no water, no fire, anila, no air, no space, none of them are there in me. When the same Shruti talks about creation, it says, space came out from me, air came out from me, fire came out from me, while talking about superimposition. While talking about creation, all of this is projected. And when the Paramarthik Satta, the absolute reality is being talked about, then what does it say? The same Shruti says, there is no bhumi, earth, water, fire, air, space in me. None of them in me. Knowing me this way, evam viditva paramatma rupam. You have to know the self ultimately in this way. Swamini ji, we have to see the self, the Brahman out there as without air, fire, space, everything. No. Where is it to be known? Evam viditva paramatma rupam. Knowing Paramatma in this way, where? Guhashayam. Guhashayam. In the beginning, Ashvalayana has said, please talk to me about that Brahma Vidya, Nigudam, which is hidden here. So Atma or the self is to be known as I. In the cave of the heart. Means in the mind. It has to be known. How? Nishkala, without any parts. Advityam, without a second. Plus samasta sakshim, which is the witness of everything. Sat, asat, vihinam. There is no sat. Sat means is and is not. A thing can be called is, and when it is not, is not. Atma is beyond, consciousness is beyond this. One who knows it in this way, prayati shuddham paramatma rupam, attains this Paramatma. Attain is just a word used, not attaining but knowing. Okay? Further, we have to go fast. With this verse, the first part of the Upanishad is over. First khanda is over. The teaching, entire teaching is over. What did Shruti talk about? The means plus Tvampada, Tatpada and identity of it. There is nothing more than this. This is the culmination of growth. What is the culmination of evolution? What is the culmination of self-growth? Is to know that I am that which I am seeking. With this the teaching ends. But still there is one big verse. Why? Because because of certain pratibandhas, certain obstacles, one may not have worked with the mind is not made that sattvic or pure, then some obstacles are there. Plus, there are certain obstacles sometimes which are very, very strong. And they do not go that easily. And so you require something very pure, very powerful to remove that. Just as Valmiki, Naradji told Valmiki when he was a robber and killing everyone left and right, then Naradji came and gave him Upadesha and said, take Ramanama. He was confident that this Ramanama is capable of dissolving all his sins and making him pure. That fellow could not even utter the word Rama properly. He pronounced it as Mara Mara. But still, with all the faith, he had complete trust in his teacher and the name. And the name brings the named. Abhidhana brings Abhideya. The power of the name is such, and this is not ordinary name, Bhagavan's name. The power of that name is such that the named comes behind. So Tulsidas ji says, the name is, Tulsidas ji says, according to me, name is greater than Rama. In the word Rama, the name Rama is greater than Rama himself. Why? Because Rama I did not know. What I knew was Rama, word. And that also meaning I did not know. Kept on uttering and uttering and uttering. And what did it do? It brought Rama. Why? Because the words when you utter, I'll take 5 minutes more. Words when you utter, they arise from the navel. From the navel region, they arise. Then it passes and strikes here in the skull. In the place of the skull, it strikes. And then it comes passing through different, different places, chakras. Then the word is articulated. You follow? This is how the articulation happens. But when it comes out from the navel and goes to the skull, it is purifying other places and strikes the brain. Every time the words like Rama, these names do something. Every time, little by little, it purifies. We may not believe that, but that is the power of these names. Similarly, now Shruti prescribes recitation of Kaivalyopanishad. Recitation. Why? Because there are some obstacles still left. For those for Uttamadhikaris, there were no obstacles, so they left. But there are some who still did not gain knowledge. So what does Shruti say? You please recite these mantras. Then a time will come, it will heal you, it will purify you, and then the same knowledge, the meaning of those verses will give knowledge. So for that purpose is this last verse. Come on. Yashatarudriya madhite so agniputo bhavati surapanat puto bhavati sabrahmahatyat puto bhavati sasuvarnastenat puto bhavati sakrutya krutyat puto bhavati tasmad avimuktamashrito bhavati atyashrami sarvada sakrudva japet anena jnanam apnoti samsararnavanashanam tasmadevam viditvainam kaivalyam phalamashnuta iti. See, one who chants Shatarudriya Madite, one who chants this Shatarudriya. Now Shatarudriya has two meanings. One is Rudram, which comes in Yajurveda, that one who chants, and also it means this Kaivalya Upanishad. One who chants this without even knowing the meaning. If you just keep on chanting it, then what happens? Agni puto bhavati. Then you become you get purified like fire. Then surapanat puto bhavati. If there is one may incur a sin by drinking alcohol, then from that also you are purified. Brahmahatyat, you may have killed some Brahmana. From that also you are released. You may have incurred, you may have done the stealing of gold, etc. From that also you are released. You may have, there may be certain omissions and commissions. Not to be done is done, and what is to be done is not done. From that also you are freed. What do you become? Tasmad avimuktam ashrito bhavati. You become like, you take refuge. Therefore you take refuge in whom? Avimuktam. Avimuktam in Shiva. Shiva is called who is always free. So may you take shelter of that Shiva. Atyashrami sarvada sakrudva japet. Atyashrami means renunciates. And those who want to pursue this knowledge may always, every day and always recite this mantras. What will happen? Anena jnanam apnoti. By this one will gain knowledge. Samsararnava nashanam. And there will be an end to this ocean called samsara. This samsara, which is like an ocean, cannot really be crossed. It can be crossed only by knowledge. And how? I come to know that samsara is not there. Like Mirabai says this, Bhavasagara sukha gaya. By the teaching of the Guru, I came to know that Bhavasagara is not there. Sukha gaya, it dried up. Similarly, with this knowledge, I come to know that that samsara from which I wanted to become free is not there. I thought I'm incomplete. I have to become complete. Is not real. I'm already full. So in a stroke, the whole samsara comes to an end. Tasmad, therefore, tasmad evam viditvainam. If you know this, then kaivalyam phalam ashnute. What reward do you get? Kaivalyam. What is kaivalyam? Oneness. Nothing but oneness. Kevalasya bhavaha kaivalyam. There is just oneness, nothing but Advaita. Second thing is not there at all. Jivo brahmaiva na aparaha. Jiva who thinks that I am different from Brahman, Ishvara, it's not there. There is just one. This is the cream of the entire Vedanta. And this is what we have to know in life. See, in the last few verses, we had to quickly wrap it up because I didn't want to leave it incomplete. So we did that. What happened? No, we did that. I think I have done everything. Say no. Which one? I think I did that. Samasta Sakshim Sadasad Vihinam. I did recite. I very much recited. Okay. Now some people wanted the recitation also. So I am reciting. You all join me. Okay. The entire, just 1 minute it will take. We are reciting the mantras. Athashvalayano bhagavantam parameshtinam upasametya uvacha adihi bhagavo brahma vidyam varishtam sada sadvisevyamanam nigudham yaya chirat sarva papam vyapohya purusham yati vidvan tasmai sahovacha pitamahascha Shraddha bhakti dhyana yoga davaihi na karmana na prajaya dhanena tyage naike amrutattvamanashuhu parena nakan nihitam guhayam विभ्राजते यद्यतयो विशन्ति वेदान्तविज्ञानसुनिश्चितार्थाः सन्न्यासयोगाद्यतयः शुद्धसत्त्वाः ते ब्रह्मलोकेषु परान्तकाले ते सर्वे विविक्तदेशे च सुखासनस्थः शुचिः समग्रीवशिरः शरीरः अत्याश्रमस्थः सकलेन्द्रियाणि निरुद्य भक्त्या स्वगुरुं प्रणम्य हृत्पुण्डरीकं विरजं विशुद्धं विशदं विशोकम् अचिन्त्यमव्यक्तमनन्तरूपं शिवं प्रशान्तममृतं ब्रह्मयोनिं तथादिमध्यान्तविहीनमेकं विभुं चिदानन्दमरूपमद्भुतम् उमासहायं परमेश्वरं प्रभुं नीलकण्ठं प्रशान्तं ध्यात्वा मुनिर्गच्छति भूतयोनिं समस्तसाक्षिं तमसः परस्तात् स ब्रह्मा स शिवः सेन्द्रः सोऽक्षरः परमस्वराट् स एव विष्णुः स प्राणः स कालोऽग्निः स चन्द्रमाः स एवं सर्वं यद्भूतं यच्च भव्यं सनातनं ज्ञात्वा तं मृत्युमत्येति विमुक्तये सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि सम्पश्यन् ब्रह्म परमं याति नान्येनु हेतुना आत्मानमरणिं कृत्वा प्रणवं चोत्तरारणिं ज्ञाननिर्मर्थनाभ्यासात् पण्डितः स एव माया परिमोहितात्मा शरीरमास्थाय करोति सर्वं स्त्रियन्नपानादिविचित्रभोगैः स एव जाग्रत्परितृप्तिमेति स्वप्ने स जीवः सुखदुःखभोक्ता जीवलोके सुषुप्तिकाले सकले विलीने तमोभिभूतः सुखरूपमेति पुनश्च जन्मान्तरकर्मयोगात् स एव जीवस्वपिति प्रबुद्धः पुरत्रये क्रीडति यश्च जीवः तं सकलं विचित्रम् आधारमानन्दमखण्डबोधं यस्मिल्लयं याति पुरत्रयं च एतस्माज्जायते प्राणः मनः सर्वेन्द्रियाणि च खं वायुर्ज्योतिरापः पृथिवी विश्वस्य धारिणी यत्परं ब्रह्म सर्वात्मा सूक्ष्मात् सूक्ष्मतरं नित्यं तत्त्वमेव त्वमेव तत् जाग्रत्स्वप्नसुषुप्त्यादि प्रपञ्चं यत् प्रकाशते तद्ब्रह्माहमिति ज्ञात्वा सर्वबन्धैः प्रमुच्यते त्रिषु धामसु यद्भोग्यं भोक्ता भोगश्च यद्भवेत् तेभ्यो विलक्षणः साक्षी चिन्मात्रोऽहं सदाशिवः मयि सर्वं प्रतिष्ठितं मयि सर्वं लयं याति तद्ब्रह्माद्वयमस्म्यहम् अणोरणीयानहमेव तद्वत् महानहं विश्वमहं विचित्रं पुरातनोऽहं पुरुषोऽहमीशः हिरण्मयोऽहं शिवरूपमस्मि अपाणिपादोऽहमचिन्त्यशक्तिः पश्याम्यचक्षुः सशृणोम्यकर्णः अहं तरूपः न चास्ति वेत्ता मम चित् सदाहं वेदैरनेकैरहमेव वेद्यः वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेव चाहं न पुण्यपापे मम नास्ति नाशः न जन्मदेहेन्द्रियबुद्धिरस्ति न भूमिरापो न च वह्निरस्ति न चानिलो मेऽस्ति न चाम्बरं च परमात्मरूपं गुहाशयं निष्कलमद्वितीयं समस्तसाक्षिं सदसद्विहीनं परमात्मरूपं यशतरुद्रीयमधिते सोऽग्निपूतो भवति सुरापानात् पूतो भवति ब्रह्महत्यात् पूतो भवति कृत्यात् पूतो भवति तस्माद् अविमुक्तमाश्रितो भवति अत्याश्रमी सर्वदा सकृद्वा जपेत् अनेन ज्ञानमाप्नोति संसारार्णवनाशनं तस्मादेवं विदित्वैनं कैवल्यं फलमश्नुते इति ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. Thank you very much, all of you. I enjoyed. I hope I have been able to share something with you. Okay, thank you very much. Arre.